This is a Wusthof Classic chef's knife. It's one of the most popular high quality chef's knives in the world, but a lot of people don't like this knife. The big issue that a lot of people have with this knife is right here, the full bolster. I'll delve into the major issue people have with full bolsters very shortly, but first, let me very quickly explain what the 3 different types of bolsters actually are, so that we're all on the same page. The bolster is this chunk of metal on the knife where the blade meets the handle. On this knife it spans the full width, from the spine of the knife right down to the blade edge, and that's what's known as a full bolster. This is the half bolster version of the same knife. You can clearly see the difference. The bolster starts from the spine of the knife to the bottom of the handle, but then stops, and the heel of the blade is left bare right to the edge. And then you have knives with no bolster at all. The blade, generally made from stamped steel, just goes straight into the handle. So now that's out of the way, what's the point of a full bolster, and do you actually need one? Well, there's one main reason for having a full bolster. The full bolster protects your fingers from the blade edge. It acts as a shield to make it near impossible for your knife holding hand to slip and get cut on the blade. It's a safety measure and it works. That's not the only benefit of full bolsters, but the others are a bit more subjective. Many people prefer the added sturdiness that a full bolster can give to a knife. And in a similar vein, many people prefer the added weight that the full bolster gives to the blade, finding it easier to control. But full bolsters definitely do come with some practicality issues. Just as a bolster protects your fingers from the cutting edge, it also can get in the way from cutting food. Hello, darkness, my old friend. It reduces the total edge along the blade and essentially creates a barrier that inhibits the full use of the knife. But there's one much larger reason why people don't like full bolsters, and it has nothing to do with the actual use of the knife. It's much more to do with the maintenance of the knife, specifically sharpening the knife. Whatever your method of sharpening, the full bolster tends to get in the way and makes it harder to sharpen. And sometimes the full bolster will make it pretty much impossible to sharpen the edge of the blade that's closest to the bolster. So if I try to use this pretty standard electric sharpener, then it's impossible to sharpen the full edge of the blade because the bolster blocks it. Or if I'm a really keen sharpener and try to use a whetstone, then the bolster would just get in the way. So there just aren't as many options to sharpen a fully bolstered knife properly. And especially when you've got a pretty high-end set of knives that you want to keep in really good condition, that can be an issue. So if you really care about safety, let's say you have teenage kids at home or someone who acts like a teenage kid, using a knife with a full bolster does add that extra element of safety. But if you're looking for a knife that you intend to maintain and sharpen over time, then a half bolstered knife or even a no bolstered knife is probably your best option. But that's not all, because if you're looking for an amazing half bolstered or even no bolstered knife that costs only a third the price of the big brands, then you need to watch my video here where I test out $50 knives against a $170 Wusthof knife.